Special grade. Special grade tier. What's the difference? What's up, guys? Hello, Hunter here, and here to do a quick little break. Well, probably not quick, but a breakdown and discussion on what the difference is between being a special grade sorcerer and having special grade sorcerer scaling, aka being in the special grade. What the heck happened over there? That's actually a bit concerning. We have to deal with that. But with that being the case, this is a pretty popular topic as of recent, thanks to Yuji Itadori getting his domain expansion and the whole JJK fandom basically exploding on whether or not that boy is special grade or not. So you know we got a whole lot to talk about, and I don't want to waste too much time. So let's not waste any more time, and let's hop right into it. Heading me, are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. What's up, guys? That guy with a... Come here! Pencil here. Fun fact, I do happen to... Come here! I'll sleep by the mercy. I do happen to have it on me, and keep it on me at all times. And another fun fact, Yuji Itadori unlocked his domain expansion. Bada bing, bada boom. Everybody knows it now. Is he special grade? No. At least not by the criteria given to us by the darn manga. But here's what I'm talking about when I say the darn manga. Because there's been a whole bunch of debate on what special grade actually means. With Yuji Itadori finally getting a domain expansion, and finally either A, sneaking into a lot of people's top 10s, or B, sneaking into a lot of people's top 5s, or C, teaming... Well, have I heard anyone actually say Yuji's top 3? I think so. Not many people. But I've seen enough people, by enough I mean like 4, say that Yuji's top 3 now because there's the domain, then I'll bring it up. But a lot of people brought up the idea that Yuji's top 3, Yuji's top 5, Yuji's top 10, and thusly, naturally, just as with any series that has any sort of internal ranking system, he has to be the highest rank now, right? He has to be special grade, because he has a domain, he has simple domain, he has 2 techniques, he's real good at 1 technique, he has soul damage, I don't think so. But once again, that's me, I could be entirely wrong, we'll see. But with that being the case, Yuji Itadori has to be special grade, right? Because, like, he can do all this now. He just beat the King of Curses, or at least trapped him in a domain expansion. That's crazy stuff. That's next level. But at least in my opinion, that's not what makes a person special grade. And notably, there are common misconceptions about what makes a person special grade. I've seen a lot of people in my comments and other people's comments and just generally online say, to be special grade, you have to be able to beat special grade curses. And that's just wrong. At least in my opinion. 1, because I can't find the panel, and no one's been able to provide it to me. But I'm pretty sure there is a panel that somewhat mentions that, kind of. I think people are referring to Chapter 6, with Ichichi explaining the curse spirit grade system. But, like, y'all do realize, if just beating special grade curses is what made you a special grade sorcerer, then literally our main trio is special grade before the end of Season 1. Every single one of them. Remember? Yuji was boxing and defeating special grades. Both Eso and Kechizu were special grade curses. That's way before Mr. Domain Expansion over here, Mr. Cleave over here, Mr. Blood Manipulation over here. Hey, you also remember who else was beating special grade curses alongside you? Yeah, Nobara. She beat special grade curse. Is she special grade? Oh, Megami. You may say, well, you know, Nobara and Yuji, they were like 2v2ing. That's not fair. To be a special grade source, you gotta build a 1v1 special. Remember what Megami did when he first unlocked his domain expansion? Remember when he fought? Not just a finger bearer, but a finger bearer that was apparently stronger than the finger bearer that Yuji lost to earlier. Yeah, that finger bearer. He beat it by himself. Is that Megami special grade? No, right? So special grade is not the criteria you beat special grade curses. Heck, if we're going by that logic, guess who else is special grade apparently? Toto. Remember, it's canonical that he beat a special grade curse on the Night Parade of 1,000 demons. Or 100. It's 100. I don't know. I say 1,000 because Geto had over 1,000, but I believe it's the Night Parade of 100 demons. But Toto beat a special grade. He's still a grade 1. It is documented that he beat a special grade. That's why he's so highly hyped up in the early series. And up until now. But we can all agree that Toto's not special grade, right? Yeah, because he's not. Because beating special grade curses is not the criteria for being a special grade. But then you may be wondering, okay, Pencil Man, fine. Being special grade curses in the criteria, but why isn't having a domain expansion the criteria for being... Because we don't know if Geto has one. But he's a special grade sorcerer. Remember, there's hot debate on whether or not what we see from Kenny is a domain expansion of Geto's. Like, notably... It's the idea that maybe WP is Geto's, and notably, I low-key do believe it's the domain expansion of Curse Spirit Manipulation, considering it seems to mimic the Uzumaki sure hit effect, not necessarily a gravity sure hit effect, based on how the impact looks and stuff like that. But that aside, we don't know if Geto had one, but he was most certainly a special grade. Heck, remember when Yuta Kotsu was a special grade sorcerer? Yeah, in Volume 0. When he, wasn't in possession of a domain. So it's not having a domain either. Then what else is the criteria for special grade? If it's not being special grade curses, if it's not having a domain expansion, then what is it? I mean, Kenny says. He literally explains it in 203. Do you know what the rank special grade signifies? The ability to single-handedly overthrow nations. Satoru Gojo and Suguru Geto both can use curse spirit manipulation to wield the most grotesque armies. Now, of course, John Worry translated this chapter, so that statement in the second half is wrong. Satoru Gojo cannot wield grotesque armies. But in the context of what it means to be a special grade, single-handedly overthrow nations. That's the whole context we have for that. Special grades are anomalies. They're something that cannot be understood within the traditional properties of the Jujutsu world, and they typically have the power to overthrow nations. The ability to. Now, of course, all 4 special grades naturally meet this criteria. Naturally, Suguru Geto / Kenjaku does, because they literally have an army of invisible spirits that would body bag anybody. As Kenjaku even mentions, even a dust can pile up into a... I don't know why I'm giving him such a deep voice. I usually give him a vexed voice. My apologies. But I'm going to give him this voice. Even dust can pile up into a mountain. If I use my cursed energy to strengthen low-level cursed spirits and command a swarm, I can reduce the first-grade sorcerer like you to this state. So, imagine that. But, with the millions of cursed spirits that Kenjaku had before he released them all back after Shibuya and before the Killing Games, and then imagine that versus a nation, which couldn't even see what was happening as Kenjaku laughs from afar. Scale it down to 4,000 or something, which Geto had in Volume 0, same thing. Obviously, Yuki Tsukumo. No, we're going to get to you in a second. But Yuki Tsukumo. Yeah, another character. Very, very powerful. Very, very neat. Also a special grade. Yeah, Black Hole. Black Hole destroys nations. Worlds. Heck, depending on the scale of it. Solar system. Come on now. Obviously, Yuki Tsukumo would be a special grade sorcerer since she has that in her kit. Of course, I'm once again going to make a video talking about Yuki being special grade outside of this, because notably, I don't think Black Hole's a win con. It's why you'll always hear me be, skeptical or critical of, ranking Yuki all too high, because I don't think this really counts as a win con. It's a double KO at best. But technically, this allows her to meet special grade criteria. She does have that in her bag. Who knows? She could have turned Garuda into a black hole for all we know, but she had to grab on to Kenny and then increase her own mass. So, it'd be like that when it'd be like that, especially when it'd be like that. Obviously, Mr. Okotsu himself. Also, special grade. Why? Rika. Rika runs through armies. On her own. Literally a spirit of infinite cursed energy that most, if not a majority of, that's literally the same thing, humans could not see, as it literally tears them limb from limb. Yuta does not need to engage with a nation when he can send his queen to go engage with a nation and overthrow that nation. He meets it, and obviously, shock horror, the guy who can literally wipe out entire swaths of cities and areas in an instant and is literally untouchable, can also single-handedly overthrow a nation. Ooh. Wow. Shock horror. So that's special grade. The 4 we know of. And of course, there's another guy who we're going to talk about a little bit who I think meets special grade criteria in spite of not being classified as a special grade. But, of course, in spite of that, let me lay something clearly. There are numerous characters who clear, maybe not Big Jaku, most certainly not Big Jaku, but Suguru Geto. Suguru Geto's scaling is kind of booty. His kid is kind of booty because he's all locked to JJK0. It'd be like that when it'd be like that, especially when it'd be like that. Unfort. But he's still a special grade. And you may be looking at me funny, I'm sorry, Pencil Man, you weren't saying, oh, something outside is doing. I was like, why are you vibrating? But with it being the case, you may be wondering, okay, Pencil Man, so you can be special grade, and you can have stats of a special grade sorcerer, but then you can have the quality and criteria of said stats exist in another person, but better, like the case of Yuji Itadori currently, who in no perceivable universe is still weaker than Suguru Geto stat-wise after numerous awakenings, numerous amps, numerous technique buffs, numerous raw stat buffs. Like, obviously, Yuji Itadori has surpassed Suguru Geto in stats. In my opinion, Yuji Itadori has most likely even surpassed, it's Toto Gojo, but Yuta Okotsu in stats. Fully Manifested Rika? I'm not sure about that, but at least this Yuta, I'm pretty sure Yuji surpassed, considering he was already going relative to him before he was awakened. Yuki Tsukumo, probably not striking strength, because Yuki's really, really strong, like imaginary mass strong, but in terms of, like, durability, and, like, I don't know, speed, and, like, basically every other stat except for punching and kicking, yeah, I'd say Yuji surpassed her, too. The only one he hasn't surpassed is the big man himself. The purple nurple. I should call him. But the purple nurple guy himself. Gojo Sasuke. That's the only special grade Yuji hasn't surpassed stat-wise. And there are other characters in the series who have better stats than special grades. But I will look you directly in your eyes and tell them that they're not special grade. Because special grade isn't just a power ranking. It's not. It's a specific criteria that needs to be met. So, like, say for example, right? Someone is capable of lifting 300 pounds. Just over, like, I'm not sure, shoulder pressing is great, but they can bench press 300 pounds. They're in a class of their own, but that person can also bench press 300 pounds and deadlift 600. There may be a person out there who can bench press 600 pounds, but can't deadlift 100. So in the specific category of bench press plus deadlift over 300, the first person meets the criteria, even though the second person is stronger and doesn't meet the criteria. Because they can only deadlift 100, but they can bench press 600, while the first person can bench press 300 and deadlift 600. That's the kind of thing that I'm talking about in terms of special grade, the sorcerer classification, versus special grade tier. Because I'll be honest with you, if we're going by special grade tier, and by special grade tier I mean those who have scaling 2 or above special grade sorcerers, the 4 that we know of, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there are like 7. And I may be lowballing it in terms of characters who at least have direct scaling to special grade sorcerers. Obviously, the biggest one, the most recent, and the most hype one is gonna be Yuji Itadori. Mr. 1v1 in the King of Curses right now. Don't sleep, don't sleep. Yeah, of course, he most certainly has special grade tier scaling. He has better durability than most of them. He has better offensive power than most of them. He has better hacks than some of them, honestly. I don't know, like, I guess, because Geto's hacks are technically infinite, but he didn't really show that many hacks back in the Zero. He's kind of booty me. But, like, in terms of that, like, yeah, Yuji's clear. He's a special grade tier threat, if not, I wouldn't say beyond it, because notably I'd say the beyond special grade tier threats are the actual 2 deities of the verse, like these 2 fellas right here. They're the ones that are beyond special grade, but in terms of special grade tier, yeah, Yuji, he's up there. In fact, he's most likely decently clear of at least 2 of them, arguably 3 of them. Depends on how much you want to hype scale Yuji and downscale Yuta. But then again, that's specifically Yuta. You throw Rika in there and it gets complicated all over again. But still, that's my point. There's a distinction. For example, another kind of criteria. Kashimo Hajime is undeniably, no matter how you feel about the guy as a character or how he was integrated into the narrative, it's clear by his feats on Akari Kinji, before the month time skip, and even his pretty lackadaisical, just whack performance against Sukuna when Sukuna incarnated. This guy is clearly a special grade tier threat. No matter what, from his abilities, to his attack potency, to his speed, honestly to his durability. This man's a beast. He's a monster. He's an animal, but I wouldn't say he's special grade. Not a special grade sorcerer. Because I don't see him soloing a nation. That's the specific criteria he meets. He has better stats than Suguru Geto. I can understand if you have contentions about Kashimo having better stats than Yuki. I can see you having contentions about Kashimo having better stats than Yuta. Obviously Gojo. But you can't look me in the eyes. You can't look me straight in my eyeballs and tell me this man don't got better stats than Suguru Geto of all characters. Like, be for real with it. You could argue base Kashimo clears Suguru Geto in almost every single physical stat category. And then he has a transformation on top of that. But he's not nation soloing. So in spite of being clear of a special grade sorcerer who's going to be in that special grade tier, and Kashimo Hajime being a special grade tier threat, that doesn't make him a special grade sorcerer. That's the difference. Are we seeing the vision now? And here's the thing, right? There are easy ways for certain characters to be made special grade, even if it'll take them a while. For example, what is Kashimo's biggest weakness and the thing preventing him from being a special grade? The fact that his body and his technique are on a time limit. Sure, base Kashimo probably could run a gauntlet, but we know he has limited cursed energy. Meaning that after the first, 5,000 soldiers he gets through, he's probably going to start to tire himself out, get a little eepy. Heaven forbid he activates his cursed technique, even if he starts firing off EM waves. I've heard, debates. Apparently, the volume translation came out, and they're not even EM waves anymore, they're just sound waves. But then again, I know the sound wave attack, he literally screams at, versus the things he fires out. But he fires beams from his hands. Say he does that a whole bunch, who knows how long he can do that? He may clear 10,000 soldiers, what about the rest of them? That's the thing. What about the rest of the nation? He'll burn out. That's the same thing with Yuji Itadori. The reason I'm so concrete on this man, clearly, absolutely. Don't let me come and try and convince you that I think Yuji has worse stats than some special grades. I think he's clear of a decent chunk of them. But I think he would also have trouble soloing a nation just because of the small scale of his attacks and the fact that he has limited stamina. He's not Sukuna. He's not a character we're going to talk about in a little bit. He's not that guy in the sense of having massive, drastic scale attacks. And sure, his endurance, legendary. Most things that a nation would throw at him probably wouldn't do too much, except for big things. But other than that, they probably wouldn't do too much. This man's bulky as all get out. But still, remember, the entire Shinjuku Showdown, while it's been actively over a year for us, probably no more than an hour and a half in universe. That's it. It really hasn't been going on for that long in universe. I'm not even sure how long it's been, but I know it's not even been half a day. It's probably not even been 3 hours. So yeah, Yuji can fight straight for 1, 2, 3 hours after, getting some help, awakening a little bit, black flashing some people, getting his output back up. But at the same time, is he running through an entire army that's going to be consistently assailing him with attacks? I don't know. He's a little bit too close range. His attacks are a little bit too small scale. It's the issue that he has. It's the issue that Kashimo has. They're limited. Meanwhile, every special grade sorcerer has one of two things that allows them to clear a nation and be a special grade sorcerer. Or there's another guy who qualifies for special grade sorcery, and maybe a couple other people who qualify for special grade sorcery that have ways to do massive amounts of damage in large enough scales quickly enough that I do believe they could casually overthrow a nation. Once again, I already went over all the other ones, but let's talk about the big men who have been basically dancing around. Ryomen Sukuna. He can solo a nation. Easily. Why? Because his attacks are huge. Forget about his domain expansion. Tell me what a nation is supposed to do when this man suddenly clears his throat, hits the twin meteors. No, let me not even do it. Twin meteors, scale of the dragon, recoil, and just launches an attack that deletes space that's huge and just slices through a whole chunk of... What are they meant to do against the thing that Kashimo got hit by? How are they... What is this? Kashimo's not even as tall as the lowest layer of that. That's not a domain expansion. That's just Sukuna's regular attack. He just spat that out. Yeah, he can solo a nation, but he's not a special grade sorcerer. But Sukuna falls under the criteria where he meets both. He's clearly a beyond special grade tier threat based on the fact that he actually beat the strongest special grade. And also, he has the massive, gargantuan, crazy scale of attacks required to do some crazy stuff like this. This is no easy feat. This is no light work. Not any character just pulling up and rocking up and milli rocking and doing this. And that's the thing. You can be a special grade tier threat. You can have special grade tier stats. You can be that guy. You can be beyond special grades. Y'all remember a certain young fella? A certain young dude. He's not young, but he's still my goat. He's still my goat. Look at him! In all his glory! Look at my goat. Look at my goat, Ryu Itadori. Look at this. Look at him. Take a look at... Oh, he's looking so suave, don't he? Guess what? This man could arguably qualify for special grade. But once again, I'll make my own... We have a little mini-series planned of covering who's special grade, who's not, and why. But for Ryu Itadori, for example, that man has really, really large-scale attacks. And also, Yuta can only release a directed high-output blast of curse energy while Rika is completely manifested. Even at full power, however, his blasts are slightly weaker than Ishigori's, so he needed to rapidly build up curse energy and fire before his opponent reached maximum power. That was his intention, but essentially that's the narrator flat out saying Ryu has better stats. The narrator also, well, not even the narrator, Sukuna himself also admits in terms of bulk and raw power, Ryu still has better stats than Yuta even after the month time skip while Yuta's domain amped. It just be like that when it be like that sometimes. And while you may hear me in another video soon make an argument about Ryu Ishigori being special grade based on certain criteria, he's clearly a special grade tier threat. That's inarguable. Just like Yuji being a special grade tier threat is inarguable. Just like Kashimo being a special grade tier threat is inarguable. Just like Earl being a special grade tier threat is inarguable. Just like I need another character. Just like Takuma being a special grade tier threat is inarguable. Just because these characters have stats or abilities or hacks or contexts that allow them to harm or even defeat special grades doesn't innately make them special grades. It's a fine line. It's a hard balance. And here's the thing. I don't blame people for the confusion. And who knows? If I'm confused, feel free to correct me. But I'm pretty sure to this day, this is the only solid criteria that we have for special grade that fits into the rest of their narrative. Remember, the reason special grades are special grades is because they're anomalies. Because they're completely out of the control and understanding of the Jujutsu world, and they can overthrow nations. Why was Yaga almost thrown to special grade? Because there was a possibility that if he felt like it, he could produce an entire army of cursed corpses. A whole army of disgusting, nasty, horrific creatures known as Panda. He could do that. That's why he was promoted to special grade, because he could create an army that could overthrow a nation. Just like Suguru Geto had an army that could overthrow a nation. Just like Satoru Gojo has a limitless amounts of energy and a limitless technique that would easily allow him to overthrow a nation at his own leisure. Quite literally, since he would never be able to be touched by it. Just like Yuki Tsukumo, whenever she felt like it, could literally just destroy the entire planet if she was really feeling a little freaky deaky like that. Just like Ryuda Okotsu, if he really felt like it could turn on any nation and sick the Queen of Curses on them and watch as she tore through them all. Because she has no limits. The black hole has limits, but no limits that humanity could counteract. Just like the limitless has no limits that can be counteracted. And just like cursed spirits, while they are limited with enough number and their imperceptibility, yeah, they could overthrow a nation. Of course, this makes them special. A special grade, if you will. But unlike other series, I think a big reason the confusion of special grade versus special grade tier threat comes in is because in basically every other series with a level system where a character's at this level or that level or this level or that level, you sort of become the level and are the same thing. For example, when I am talking in a versus battle context and say someone from, for example, 7 Deadly Sins is a sin tier threat, that automatically makes you think, okay, they're on the level of the 7 Deadly Sins. By proxy, they must be comparable to the 7 Deadly Sins. So when I say someone is a special grade tier sorcerer, that automatically makes you think, okay, they're going to be beyond all the grade 1s. But notice the word tier, not actual classification, the difference. There is no such thing as a 7 Deadly Sins tier in that universe, but there is a special grade tier within this universe. The conflation between the two is natural because they share a similar name, even if they have functionally different purposes. Because one can be capable of doing something extremely drastic and extremely dangerous, such as soloing an entire nation, and still be weaker than the guy who can punch and kick real good. And also can cut up real well now. It just be like that. When it be like that, especially when it be like that. Yuji Itadori is that guy. Undeniable. His stats, up there, clear. But he's not there yet. Because he cannot solo a nation. At least in my opinion, based on his limited stamina. Now, notably, for Yuji specifically, let me lay this out since I feel like I've been unclear. He could easily become it. If he gets Malevolent Shrine, if his domain ever ends up being open, oh, he got that. If he ever actually gets a ranged dismantle where he can fire them bad boys out and they're of even comparable scale to Sukuna and he can fire them out at rapid or at least for a decent amount of time, oh yeah, he's there. If Kashimo Hajime has no time limit, if this man simply didn't tire out, if he had limitless amounts of cursed energy and a body that wouldn't break down, Solo Nation. It'll take some time. Same thing for Yuji. Like right now, if you were to remove the hypothetical stamina meter that Yuji has, the cursed energy bar that he has, then he could Solo Nation. It would take a real long time though. And you better hope no one drops anything on him. And you know exactly what I mean by dropping something on him. That's the thing. That's the difference of a special grade tier threat and a special grade sorcerer. It's why... Do I drop it now? Do I hint at it? I'm gonna hint at it. I'll go more in depth about this once I actually give Ryu his own video, because I've been hyping up, I've been glazing Ryu for a while now, but I've yet to give him his own video. But notably, I don't see Ryu soloing a nation with this little pea shooter right here, with this little minimal thing he got post domain. It's a little whack. It's a little weak. I ain't gonna lie to you. But y'all remember that blast he did when he first interrupted Uro and Yuta? That thing that he fired from his dome piece that was like AoE, that would like wipe out an entire swath of an area, like that. That's a barrel black. Like that's some Solo Nation stuff right there. The key to being a special grade sorcerer is not just having the raw stats, the raw speed, and the raw power. It's being able to use those stats in quick enough succession on a large enough scale that a nation could not compete. Or have ability so good that a nation could not compete. Arguably, you can make a pretty reasonable argument that someone like Takaba is technically, by pure unfeasible technicality, a special grade sorcerer. Why? Because it's kind of hard to imagine what a nation would do to him, but he could get EP. He could tire out. That's a lot of joking he has to do. Unless he starts thinking of the army in like a macro sense, I'm not exactly sure he's going to defeat them. But he has abilities. He has the raw talent. He has the raw power, in a sense, based on how he was bully bagging Kenjaku around, to the point where Kenjaku couldn't really do anything. But, while Takaba did defeat Kenjaku for the most part, yeah, Kenjaku's a special grade sorcerer. Suguru Geto is, because they have the keys that Takaba doesn't. Yuta Kotsu, he's a special grade sorcerer, because he has the keys that a certain Ryu Ishigori just doesn't. Or maybe he does. Who knows? Maybe. But with it being the case, Yuki Tsukumo has the keys that someone like a Yuji Itadori simply doesn't. And let me be real with y'all. There are ways to get almost every character who's a special grade tier threat to special grade. It's dumb ways, like either like removing their stamina meter, like giving them the 6 eyes, I guess, and just making sure that they never run out of stamina, they can consistently heal through everything. And or removing time limits or removing weaknesses. But still, I think it's okay to just have characters be above the grade 1 tier, yet not special grade. Just special grade tier threat. It sounds like a stupid distinction, but the only reason I'm going this far is because the narrative goes out of its way to justify it that way. We got a criteria, so we might as well make sure the characters match the criteria. Even if the characters in every other way, shape, and form, even if they don't, they can be acknowledged as people who do have the talent, the raw potential, the ability to reach a certain point. That point would be special grade tier. Will we ever see more characters hit the special grade tier? Yeah. Not really. Because at this point, the series is nearly over. So I'm not sure how many more characters we're going to see reach the tier. But once again, there's a guy. There's a notable little fella. You may have heard of him. There's a Yuji Itadori, who I think has the potential. And depending on how much further the battle goes and how much he unhinges himself, he could probably reach or become a special grade sorcerer. I can see it. Megami? He is potential, man. I don't know. Maharaga could solo a nation. That 10 challenge totality could go crazy. But still, it's debatable. But at this point, I think the distinction has been laid clear. If I need to explain it any further, let me know. I'm more than down. I'll actually probably do a proper grades explained video in the fashion of my old explained videos, where I go down panel by panel, proper by proper. This is more so a loose discussion forum to try and go over all the types of ways I've heard people say special grade versus what the actual criteria are. If you have any panels or chapters or anything that you want me to go read to prove that I'm absolutely wrong in this video, please do. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. It's just the only criteria I can think of based on what Kenjaku said in that very specific chapter. But Please let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. But if you made it all the way to the end of this video, please do me a favor and leave Ultra Prism. Ultra Prism. And if you're wondering, yes, that is literally me just looking at an Elite Trainer box from Pokemon Sun and Moon that happens to be sitting on one of my shelves. Leave Ultra Prism in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure to hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon below where you can support me for as low as $1 a month. Things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Some of those perks will include the live reactions to the very next chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen, ad-free variations of all my videos, and if you come to a $25 Patreon and $25 member, you can order whatever video you want. Also, I do have a link to my Ko-Fi and screen down below, or you can drop 5 beans for a short video, 20 beans for a long video, or any beans at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, I'd like to thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Dagger the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to thank you to our $3 members, Zena, Greyhound, Astro, Eternal Flame, NMA, Real Rare, G Prosper, Red Wolf 4765, and Paris Arnold. I'd like to leave another big ol' thank you to our $5 patrons, Sean, Sammy, Midnight Lord 21, Kevin Encarnacion, Josh Brown, and A+A. And I'd like to give a great big thank you to our $7 members, Autumn Mornings Lazo, Fine, and That Guy. And I'd like to give a great big thank you to our $10 members, Robbie Uchiha, Jay Warrior, and Akid's Void. And I'd like to give big, hefty, juicy thank yous to our $10 patrons, Panda Goat, Michael Williamson, Metal Solid Crisis, Joaquin Munoz, and Idem Okami. And I'd like to give the biggest, juiciest, meatiest, sloppiest, and heftiest thank you of them all to our $25 patron, Calvin Elder.